Hey, okay, welcome guys. We're back with the Microsoft GameStack Theater, and we're going to spend about the next 20 minutes talking about designing for LiveOps. So if you want to hear about that, please come in and sit down. Okay, I'm going to get started. So games that use a live ops strategy, so games that are really built natively from the ground up to be live operations games, games that are live, games that change, games that have persistence, all of these things, of course, they have to focus more purposefully on engagement and retention. Of course, any game needs to have great core gameplay loops and interesting content, right? All games need to have that. But games that are designed specifically for live ops have a few additional things that we really have to consider in order to make them work great. The first thing is the element of time, right? So live ops games are built to build a relationship with a player base that lasts for a long time. And that relationship needs to develop and change over time. Having core gameplay, great core gameplay experiences will help players stick to your game, but really to keep them around and keep them engaged over time, their experiences in your game need to change as they change and grow in your game as well. As players sort of invest more and more into your game, they want to get more and more out of that game. Just like the way your Pokemon evolves, right? Like as it gets more and more experience, your players sort of evolve in order to take on different things that they want to do in your game over time. But it's not good enough just for the player to change, right? You have to have this focus on progression systems. So the player needs to also feel like the game is meeting them halfway and changing with them. Progression systems can focus on a lot of things like power, skill, resource management, social standing. Any of these things are things that the player can invest more in and have the design of the game change as the player puts more time and effort into it. Systems that reward investment with only other resources, though, are going to lose their appeal very quickly. So you want to make sure that when the player is being rewarded with these systems, that we focus on intrinsic rewards. Things like actually gaining real skill, or things like building relationships with other players, or finding more autonomy in the game, the ability to do more things and see more things. Because, as I said, if the systems that you have only reward the player with more of the same, if I spend a lot of time gaining experience points in order to be able to gain more experience points more quickly, that system is going to sort of devolve into an optimization exercise. And it's not really going to stay engaging and interesting in the long haul as the players change. As I said, you really want to focus on making your progression systems all about intrinsic rewards, right? Intrinsic rewards are the things that sort of come from within, things that motivate us to do things that are not, carrots and sticks. Those are extrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are things like gold or items or points or praise if you want to be more general. And intrinsic rewards are motivation systems that do things like give us purpose or appeal to our curiosity or appeal to our ability to get better at something. The more your progression system focuses on rewarding these intrinsic motivators, the better your retention is going to be over the long haul. But not only does your player need to feel like the game is changing for them over time, the game itself actually needs to change over time. Static games have a really difficult time retaining players over the long haul because they don't really change, and that's for a couple of different reasons. The first is that players themselves change, right? The way that the player interacts with your game is very different the very first time that they play your game versus after they've been playing the game, for maybe years. They become a veteran player. They advance through what we call sort of the player life cycle. First, they're just interested, then they're a novice, then they're learning, then they're becoming an expert. When these things happen, the game itself really needs to change to deliver the needs that the player has when they move through these steps. The other thing that makes change for a game very important to retain a player base is that communities need change in order to stay interested in a game. Communities need to have milestones, things that happen, moments in time that they can all rally around and think about and discuss in order to stay interested and engaged in a game. For example, this is sort of some of the updates that have been made to Rainbow Six Siege. These are touchstones that the community can come back to. They can share experiences like, oh, hey, remember when this season dropped, or remember when this update happened, remember when this balance change happened. Those things give communities something to latch onto so they can continue to be interested in the game, continue discussing it, and continue to stay engaged. When we consider LiveOps for design, we also have to think about how do we actually make these things happen, right? I talked about the game needs to change, the game needs to focus on delivering the right things to the right players when they're at the right point in their player journey. How do we do that? Well, first, we need to be very agile. We need to be able to change the game as the players themselves change. That means building games in a way that they can be updated and iterated on and evolved quickly and easily. That's things like build systems, that's things like your content structures, all the things that go into making changes to the game. You want to keep them as agile as possible so that as the game grows and changes and as you learn more and more about your player base, you can evolve it and iterate on it and make it change and grow. And you need to be modular. You really need to think about keeping all of your systems as modular and independent as possible. When you're designing a game to be a LiveOps game, you know you're going to be iterating on it, you know you're going to be experimenting, you know you're going to be making frequent content updates, so you ideally want to build all of your systems design to be completely modular. You never want to get into a situation where changing something fundamental about one design system in your game actually breaks another one, because you're going to want to be able to iterate and experiment and change each one of those design systems independently, and you're going to be able to do it frequently over time. And again, things that you make have to be changeable. When we are designing for a LiveOps game, we need to be thinking right from the beginning, how can I make systems that are not inherently static? How can I make things that are open to being changed, that are open to being iterated on, that are open to being evolved over time? And how can I make systems that are going to be able to change with the player as the player changes? Systems that can be engaged with whether or not you're a brand new player who's playing the game for the very first time, or a player who's been playing the game for 3 years and is sort of an uber ultra player with all the best stats and all the best gear. You really want to make systems that change with the player, that you can make changes to if you want to evolve the game. So let's take an example. We're going to talk about designing a live event for a game. This is going to be a really simple game, simple event. We're going to use a simple RPG as an example. So when I say a simple RPG, I just mean a game in which the primary activity for the player is defeating challenges and getting rewards for them. Probably, defeating, in fact, specifically enemies, like just individual enemies being defeated, and then getting drops off those enemies that do things like progress the player's experience or build up their resources. So we're going to build a really, really simple event for this. It's going to be a drop event. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take our simple RPG where you're defeating monsters with a stick or something, and they're dropping things, and we're going to do something and say that, you know what, for this month, and we'll go back in time, we'll pretend like it's February, and we'll say for the month of February, all of the monsters are going to additionally drop this thing called a candy heart to celebrate Valentine's Day. We're going to add that candy heart into the game, so every time you defeat an enemy, now not only do you get all the things you usually get, but you also get a candy heart. And then we're also going to add a vendor into the game that takes these candy hearts and lets you trade them in order to get prizes. It's a very simple drop event, time limited, based around a holiday. So let's say we have this really simple RPG. We're going to also have a system of data that we use to update that RPG. And this is just like a really, really simple example of the way drop tables might be put together in order to facilitate this kind of simple RPG. So here we have just a table of drops. These are a bunch of generic things that just made up for this simple RPG that the enemies will drop when you defeat them. So we have this list, and it's got, like wood and magic crystals and junk. And we're adding this new thing into that list, which is our candy hearts that are only going to drop during this month of February. In order to build this so that it's easily changeable and easily updatable, instead of just having one list of drops that we then pull from every time a player is killed, we actually want to build these sort of stacking drop tables. So instead of having just one, we actually have these drops organized into different tables. So we have a world table, we have a region table, which is like a desert one, a forest one, a plains one, and now we have a special table. So instead of having to go in and rebuild all the drop tables for every monster in the game, we're just going to add in this new table. So this is an example over here on the left of a specific enemy. This is an enemy that exists in our forest region, and when you kill it, it rolls on 2 different tables normally. Right, it rolls on the world table, so anything in the world might drop off of it. And it rolls on the forest table, which is just the stuff that's unique to enemies in the forest. And now we're adding this new table, the special table, which is the heart table. Because these are all unique tables, and they're getting rolled on individually, we don't have to worry about messing up all of our balance that we did when we originally put the game out. Right? We already have a balance that we want for the world table and the desert table and the forest table when you defeat an enemy there. Adding in this heart, we don't want that to mess up our balance, so it's actually its own table, its own special table that's just going to be here temporarily. Now, I can actually take all this information that I'm really just building this like literally using Excel, which is secretly the most popular game design tool in the entire industry. Game designers use Excel more than anything else, honestly. So I've built all of these tables just in Excel. I built a really simple Python script to just take that and translate it into a JSON file. And then I uploaded that JSON file into PlayFab, because I'm actually using PlayFab to manage all of these drops for all of my creatures in the game. And now that I've added this new one, I've uploaded this new information into PlayFab, and now all those drops are there, and I can organize them. So now I've decided maybe, okay, I uploaded this new drop table, all the creatures are dropping these hearts. But maybe I decide, actually, this event is only good for veteran players. I actually don't want new players to see it at all. So in order to prevent that from happening, I'm going to go into PlayFab, and I'm actually going to make segments and sort all my players into different levels. And I'm going to assume if you're a veteran player, you're above level 20. And then I'm going to point that drop table that I created to only drop for players that are above level 20. So now in PlayFab is telling it every time a drop gets created, an enemy gets defeated, and we pull off the drop table, we're only going to look for that special drop table and pull from that if the player is over level 20, and then only players over level 20 will actually participate in this event. Because I set this up in PlayFab, it also means that if a player is level 19 today, and then in the middle of the event they become level 20, they'll immediately start getting that drop, because they are now dynamically sorted into that segment. They're in the veteran player segment, and they get to participate in this event as well. So this is just a really simple example of the kinds of things that we think about when we're designing for LiveOps. Things about data structure, things about being able to change things quickly. There's a lot more. Oh, I moved on too fast. There's a lot more things that you can do inside of PlayFab in order to facilitate designing for LiveOps. You know, we have more robust experimentation system, really robust content configuration. I just touched on a really simple drop event that you could do, but you could also set up more sophisticated things like doing dynamic difficulty levels for different players based on their behavior inside of the game. We have a whole set of rules and event triggers that you can set up inside of PlayFab. The point is that when you are designing a LiveOps game specifically, you want to be agile, you want to be able to be changeable, you want to be able to iterate. Using tools like PlayFab really helps you do that, because you can store a lot of that content in the cloud and make those changes without doing another client build. If you want to learn more about what PlayFab is doing, we have 10 demo stations over here. One of them is a Designing for LiveOps demo station, where they will walk you through, step by step, actually making design changes in a demo game that they have. It's pretty cool. I invite you to check it out. We have a bunch of other demos as well for things like multiplayer services, pub sub, leaderboards, all that wonderful stuff. There's also this guide right in front of me if you want to pick that up. It's the PlayFab's Guide to LiveOps. It goes very deep into all kinds of LiveOps techniques like engagement, retention, monetization. Check that out. And of course, you can always get started for free at playfab.com. So go over to playfab.com, sign up, start messing around. We have a lot of great sample code that you can play with, or you can hook it directly up into your game and start making API calls. Stick around, because we have more stuff coming up in the theater. Actually, coming up next, after a little break here, I'm going to be doing an intro to LiveOps talk. So stick around if you want to hear that. Thank you, guys.